Thanks for tuning in to Prime Sports Speed on the Prime Sports Network right here on YouTube. And make sure if you like this video and any of our videos, like them, subscribe to them, and let us know. Comment anything else that you want us to post on our channel, videos. You have any questions or comments, please do. Make sure to ask questions to Eric Smith from racereviewonline.net because he's the analyst. He'll be at the tracks all season long for both the IndyCar and the NASCAR Series. Not every track, but hey, he's going to be at the Indy 500. He'll be actually living there for the next 2 weeks. And,
pretty much.
And of course, TJ we're doing as well from rotowire.com. Okay, so back from hanging out all weekend at Indianapolis, and your 50-1 sleeper came through, Eric. That was pretty nice. Next time you gotta set me up before the show, like tell everybody what you're, and then I'll go ahead and place a couple of bets, and then But anyway, great call on that one.
Thanks. Yeah, he looked good in practice. He and I wrote about this on Saturday. Renus. He got his first top 5 at Indianapolis Motor Speedway, that track last year. His first pole, his first podium, and that was first win. He was quick on practice on Friday before the show. He was quick on Saturday morning, and he turned it into a win. So I know we'll talk about it here in the video, but yeah, just great strategy call, and not as flukish as some people might think.
Yeah. And I was watching on and off because I was also there was a lot going on, horse racing. And Preakness Day and so forth. So there's a lot going on. And it looked to me every time I watched, it looked to me that Grosjean was the one that seemed to be in control, or was it just it was a matter of pit strategy?
It was the pit strategy. He was in control. He had a quick car. VK had a quick car. It was just the pit strategy with the race, and kind of like I talked about. We'll talk about in the video on Friday about the tire strategy, the Firestone Reds, which a lot of people don't understand. I was trying to explain to my family. It's a faster tire. So that tire is faster than the primary. They got 2 tires, the Reds and the Blacks. The Blacks are just your regular tire. The Reds are a faster tire. It's an alternate tire, and you have to use one of each during the race. So that's where the strategy comes into play. When do you use them, and how do you use them? The Reds are faster, but they wear faster as well, where the Blacks may not be as faster early, but they sustain through the course of a run. Well, the way it was a little bit overcast, a little bit cooler, and the way Indy's track is, the Reds don't fall off much. That's your preferred tire for this weekend because you can go a longer stint. Well, Grosjean went red right off on his pit stops. He started on Reds, went on Reds. VK started on Blacks and then went Reds the rest of the way, knowing Grosjean still had one set of Blacks he had to do, and that is how we caught the gap and passed them. Plus, lap traffic was in the way. IndyCar is just not like, hey, get out of the way, the leader's coming. You're allowed to defend your position to stay on the lead lap. Grosjean hit that lap traffic, couldn't get around him, slowed him up. VK ducked off, got to pit road, clean air, red tires. He was fast. Grosjean came out of the pits in lap traffic. VK was there and passed them with a good move. So that's strategy. That's where a lot of people in IndyCar might look like, oh, there's one caution, and it was one guy won by 4 seconds. Well, there's strategy to get to that point that you got to know what you're looking for. And I feel like us in the media, we can do a little bit better job of portraying road course races, the strategy, because my notes, I tweeted a picture of it. It was full of people like, what are you writing there? Well, it's the Reds and the Blacks and when they pit and how there's a little bit of method behind that madness, but that's how VK won and Grosjean did it.
Okay.
It is all strategy, which we'll talk about in the video. You'll see the pass in here.
Yeah. And one last thing, and that is that doesn't have anything to do with what we're going to see in the 500 because this is a completely different speedway.
Different oval. And the ovals, they don't use the red tires. It's all the same tire the whole time. So they don't, there's no gimmicks there. It's just flat out from there.
All right. Wrap this thing up. And we're also going to wrap up Dover with Alex Bowman getting a win. We'll talk about that in a little bit. But tell us what you found out and what you saw this weekend, including, of course, with Renus winning on Saturday for the first time in the Grand Prix.
Yeah, it was good. So we got the start of the race. first lap wreck again. I mean, we had it 7th time, 10 races.
Yeah, you actually talked about that too on the show.
Yeah. Well, yep, we talked.
This is it, right?
IndyCar's. This is it right here, right at the start. You'll see it. Turn 1 is a difficult turn to get into. You see they got the long straightaway. They're all bunched up. You have to be aggressive. We talked about starting spots meaning something. The guys in the back have to come forward. You see them start to fan out. It's a quick right-hand turn right here. And you see how it narrows down. Connor Daly got hit from behind. Got a couple of guys go off course. Pato O'Ward just completely missed the turn to stay out of it. And that brings out the first caution. And that's just what happens. I mean, here's an aerial view of, you'll see how tight it is getting into here. You can't go off course. You see a couple of guys go right through the grass. There's nowhere to go. Connor stalled, brings out the caution. And coincidentally enough, it was the only caution of the day. And that's what we talked about, the strategy just now. And we talked about that on Friday, is once you get through this first lap, it turns into a strategy race. It's just that carnage of how can you make it through this tight turn with 25 other cars? And it just, as you see right here, that happened to Connor Daly, just got punted. It's a racing deal. There's nothing more that could happen. You see Grosjean forced somebody off the track there. Looks like Sato. Okay. So here's Sato's battle. I'm sorry, skipping ahead here. This is the battle where Grosjean before the pit strategy, and here comes VK through the middle. You see the red tire wall. Sato was slowing him up on track, so he didn't have that clean out lap. VK was riding right in his clutches there. He had a clean pit stop, clean track, red tires, closed the gap, and here he is going by him on the south end of the track, coming to the straightaway with nobody in front of him. They already got by Sato because he was slowing Grosjean
What part
up.
of the race is this?
This is midway. This is after the pit stop here.
Is this the final pit stop?
Second to last. This is the one. Grosjean, if you want to pause that here, I could talk about that here in a second. So you'll see the red tire right there. He went to the red tire wall there. VK started off on the primary, starting from 7th. He knew that was his way to get to the front. He had to go off strategy. Why go red tires when everybody in front of him's on red tires? And try to do the same strategy. So he went the Firestone Blacks, is what they call the primary, knowing that his red tires the rest of the way could last. He knew that he could go faster, he could last. Grosjean, at that point, right before that, he was on the blacks. He had to go blacks. He went red. That decision in the lap traffic is what won this race for VK, because as you saw right before that was when Sato was in the red car, the red and white car. Grosjean couldn't get by. I mean, Sato's allowed to defend his position. He doesn't want to fall a lap down. And it was hard to pass him. And because, I mean, Sato's an Indy 500 two-time winner. It's not an easy guy to get by. So that allowed VK right here. That's where Sato was making it hard for him. VK, so that allowed him to close up. That's Sato's onboard right there.
He was also in the red.
Yes. Okay. And that allowed VK to close that gap even more. So once VK, as you see, he kind of cut him off, slowed him up. VK caught up. VK makes it 3 wide right here, makes a hell of a move going into the braking zone, and passes. Grosjean fights back, and then right here, and then VK, if he's there's nobody in front of him. He gets this draft from him, toes out, gets him in the infield portion right there, and has a long straightaway on red tires, which are quicker. He only pit a few laps sooner, and set sail. At that point, he had no lap traffic in front of him. Grosjean did out of his pit stop, and that's what won the race. That right there was the winning move.
So then why didn't Grosjean's team have the same strategy?
Their strategy would have been, look, if you go red, let's get a big lead. Let's just go red and think like, hey, we can use the Firestone alternate, get a big enough lead to where this doesn't happen. He was just slowed up in that lap traffic where he wasn't running the faster lap times before he had to pit. So let's think of it as if he was running a minute and 10-second lap times on that tire, but he could be a minute 9, minute 8 range if he wasn't stuck in traffic. Okay. Well, VK's in that minute 8, minute 9 range. He's just closing that gap. And then Grosjean pits and he comes out and he's stuck back in lap traffic again and he's getting slowed up. And VK on faster tires catches up to him because that gap. So let's say Grosjean doesn't get caught in lap traffic. He's probably running VK's pace before that. He can duck off and pit and come out and take off, set sail, and VK probably never catches him. So you can't predict lap traffic. He just, unfortunate circumstance, it's racing. He would prefer the lap traffic let him by, but again, you're fighting to stay on the lead lap. You never know when a yellow's going to come. Why would you purposely let somebody lap you?
Sure.
So I get both sides. It's racing, and hey, made it for a good race. VK, the 5th different winner in 5 races. He's great at Indianapolis. It's where you see the celebration, and he almost got fired last year as a rookie, and here he is celebrating the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Coincidentally enough, his team owner is Ed Carpenter. Ed Carpenter's stepdad is Tony George, who used to run the Speedway. The Holman George family sold it to Penske. He's never won there before, and here he wins with Penske's ownership in Victory Lane. So it's a good story all around to see him win this race. Grosjean finished in 2nd. As we notice, you get a bump in traffic for former F1 guy. Does good. People start paying attention. And then Alex Palou to round out the podium. Strong start to him for the season. He's got 4 top 8s in 5 races. He's 2nd in points, moves up, cuts the deficit in half to Scott Dixon, his teammate. So it was a good race. You just got to know what you're looking at for road course races. But, hey, couldn't ask for a better start for the month of May.
Yeah, I mean, it's exactly. And it's sort of emulating the parity that we're seeing in NASCAR as well, where there's not Truex finally won his 3rd race a couple of weeks ago, but nobody else until Bowman won on Sunday we have a multiple win driver. So that's good.
Yeah, I mean, NASCAR's got 10 winners in 13 races. IndyCar's got 5 and 5. They're 5 for 5. To quickly wrap that up, Dixon is the points leader. We got Indy 500 practice starting tomorrow. I'll be at there all week. He led 111 laps in the 500, finished 2nd last year. He won at Texas a few weeks ago. He's the points leader. He went into this week 22 points ahead. Now the lead's down to 13 because his teammate Palou had a good day. Graeme Ray Hall kind of rejuvenated himself. He pitted early, went off strategy, got back up to finish 5th. Joseph Newgarden was 4th. So if you look at the podium guys, you might look at like, well, VK, Grosjean, and Palou, what? This is an odd weekend, but Newgarden, Ray Hall, Pagenaud, Rossi right there behind. It's just those 3 were really good. You got the point standings right there heading into the month of May, or the 500th part of the month of May. Double points, so don't put a whole lot of stock into what you see already, because this could really make or break your season with double points on the line for the 500. It's a tight championship. 5 races down, you look at the margins you've got 28 points between Dixon to Newgarden. Graeme Ray Hall's only 38 points out in 5th, and this isn't like NASCAR. You have playoffs. This is an accumulation for the whole season. You only got 39 points from 1st to 5th, and there's double points on the line this weekend where, in theory, the winner gets 100 points, 2nd place gets 80 points. So it's a 20-point gap just between them. So points can be had here. Andretti, they're off to a bad start this season. Herta won in St. Pete, but their guys are not sitting good in the points. He's the only one in the top 10. Rossi, Hunter Ray, Hinchcliffe. They need to really get things going. Double points in 2 weeks could really help them close that gap in the championship, get things turned around. Or do the opposite. They could keep the thing going and the thing being bad luck going and far even further behind, and the season would be a disaster. So Andretti's got to get going. Penske hasn't won yet this year. They're 0 for 5. They had a struggling 500 last year, and you can see in the points they got Newgarden in 4th. They need some help here. Pagenaud's kind of sitting there in the top 10. Power's the back in the top 10. McLaughlin's there. They're coming along, but a lot to watch for this week. I know we'll talk on the show on Friday, but hey, IndyCar's parity's high. 5 for 5, 5 different pole winners. 4 of the 5 winners are 21 years old or younger. So we got a youth movement going on there now too.
And like, okay, so when we're just talking about some of these veterans, like brand names, Castroneves, no points. Marco,
he hasn't raced yet
this
year.
Yet.
Yeah,
why?
Yeah, these guys are making. They're just part time. They're just running.
So they're not trying to win a championship.
No. Castroneves
he's too old.
He's going to run a few more. He would run full time if he had an option. I think he can still compete with these guys. But I mean, look at Juan Pablo Montoya.
Yes,
Formula One driver, NASCAR driver, multiple-time IndyCar winner, won a championship in kart, 2-time Indy 500 winner. He finishes 21st, his first start since 2017 or 18 in the series. So it shows you how hard the series is to win in. So Castro Neves, they're just starting with the 500. He's more than capable, obviously, of winning the 500. Same with Marco. So
how many
Marco's
races has Marco raced?
None. This is his first. Same with Castro Neves, Sage Karam.
Okay.
Some of these guys, yeah.
Tony Kanaan.
He's running part-time, just the ovals. He's sharing the car with Jimmy Johnson.
Okay. James Hinchcliffe.
He's doing not too good.
Doesn't look like it.
He's had some bad luck. He's more than capable. He's great here at Indy. That's for the double points for these Andretti guys. You look at Hinch where he's at. Hunter Ray's down there with them.
Hunter Ray is another one.
These are some guys. Yeah, they're good on the oval, and they got to turn things around. With double points, this is, unfortunately for them, this is kind of the make or break for them. You need the double points to close that gap up top.
Is this the new winner right here?
Which one's that?
Grosjean,
there he is. But see, he's part-time. Look at him.
He's
part-time, and he's ahead. He's only running the road and street courses. He's not running the ovals. Okay. And look, he's 15th in points. And that's where Hunter Ray and these guys are like, whoa, I'm full-time, and I got a part-time guy ahead of me. Granted, this will change this weekend with double points and Grosjean not scoring any.
Okay.
But, yeah, Andretti's got a lot. That's a big story to watch. Just you look at where they are in the standings. Colton Hurd is best for him in 10th. I mean, Rossi's right there in 14th. If they don't do well in the 500, and I can't stress this enough with double points, look at how far back they are. They're going to fall even further back. It's going to be a gap too much to make up.
Okay.
That's why they got to take advantage of this. But those guys in front of them, they're no slouches at Indy either. Like you got Scott Dixon leading the points. Alex Palou was a rookie at the 500 last year. That's how he got Chip Ganassi ride. So, because he did good there. Newgarden's always good at Indy. Hasn't won yet, but you've got a lot of guys in front of him that are good here. That if they continually to be good and the Andretti guys don't win or dominate the top 5, then it could be for a rough rest of the season for them.
Okay. Well, we're going to have 2 shows on Friday, and we're going to have because you have practice this week, so you're going to recap practice on Friday. Then we're going to also preview qualifying, which is on Saturday.
Yep, Saturday and Sunday. So different format for this. It won't make sense to some. So you got 35 cars on the entry list. They're all going to qualify on Saturday. Multiple attempts. You can go out as many times as you want. Spots 10 through 30 are locked in. You don't have to requalify Sunday. That's your starting spot. The top 9, and then you got your bottom 5, 31 through 35 and 1 through 9. They'll requalify on Sunday. So it's key to get in the top 9 because you want a shot at the pole. The times are thrown out. You make one run, and the quickest is the pole, second quickest the second, and so on. And then your bottom is the same way. But that's why there's 5 of them. 3 of them make it, 2 go home. So that's where you're going to see the multiple attempts on Saturday because you don't want to be in the 31 through 35. You want to be locked in. So you're going to have guys on that bubble try to solidify themselves. And if you're 12th, 13th, 14th, 15th, but you could get in the top 9 or at least try to make a shot, you're going to go multiple times. Just, hey, what do I have to lose? Let me try to get in there. So that's where Saturday is. And then Sunday, you're going to requalify those spots. So we'll talk Friday, preview that, and then maybe Sunday, recap what we saw from the weekend too.
Okay. And then the following Friday, which is going to be on the 28th, that's when we're going to preview the race.
Yeah.
Because that's going to be that Friday morning is the final practice.
Correct. That they'll practice from 11 to 1, and that's it. There'll be no on-track activity until they hop in the cars and race on Sunday. Okay. So we'll have everything at our disposal at that point. We'll preview the race with our who our picks we think to win, maybe some sleepers to watch for, and talk about the race.
Well, actually, we'll make sure to talk about some good bargains this week too. So when we talk on Friday and then again on Sunday, we're definitely going to update the odds because I want to make sure, because like you said, once everything's locked in, the odds are going to change. So we're going to try to figure out a really good way of taking advantage of the odds, sort of like what you talked about last week with VK.
Yeah, that's where Friday's show is important because they're probably not – the odds are out right now. Their odds for the 500, it would be hard to bet on right now because other than an open test, what do you really have to go off of?
Now. Yeah, forget it.
No. But where Friday's key is Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, they're on race trim setups. So we're going to see who – this is where me being on site's good. I'm going to be able to see who's good in traffic. The speed chart, yes, it's good. Hey, they set the second fastest speed. That's great. But how good were they on long runs? The race is 200 laps, not one. So how do they look in traffic? How do they look on long run pace? Are they passing people? I'm going to be able to physically see that by being there.
Okay.
So the odds probably won't change because they haven't qualified yet. They don't qualify until next weekend. So our show for Friday will be good because I'm going to be able to take what I saw and take what the odds are given to me and tell you, hey, this guy, like, for example, right now, last I checked, Takuma Sato is 18-1. That dude has won 2 of the last 4 Indy 500s. How does he look in practice? If he looks good, I'd hammer that at 18-1 right now. So I'm going to be able to, or he might look bad. I'm like, oh, he doesn't look like he's got a good handling car. Maybe let him qualify and let him drop.
Sure.
And so we'll be able to talk about that on Friday. I'm going to be able to see some things being out there, talk to some people. Luckily, I've got garage and pit access. I could decipher who's good and who's not through by that time of Friday, because on Friday, the speeds will rise because they turn the boost up on these engines for qualifying speed. So race practice will be Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Friday's qualifying practice from then on out. So we'll have a good reading by that show on Friday. It'd be a good betting show to watch.
All right. That sounds good to me. Okay, so now let's talk about what took place in Dover, the Monster Mile for NASCAR. And not a surprise that a couple things. I mean, we could kind of start with Kyle Larson because this is getting old. Where he's winning the first couple of stages and he's dominating, and then he doesn't, and look, this wasn't his fault. And I'm not saying even when Blaney beat him, what was that? Atlanta, that was his fault either. The car is the car, but his team, they've got to fix this because it doesn't matter what you do early. This isn't the old NASCAR. This is a new system with the stages. It helps. There's no question. It is helping Kyle Larson that he's getting these stage points and all this stuff, but he's not winning races. And in the end, that's what's going to win the championship come playoff time. I don't know. You tell me whether or not you think, especially understanding the way that this track is, that when he had his shot with about 90 laps to go, and he was right there, and it was like, if this was the last lap, that he would have bumped Bowman out. You just know it. But it was like, well, it's 90 laps to go, whatever it was. I'm just going to let me see if I can do it without wrecking them. And I don't know. I mean, this is the problem I have with why the sport can be that much more exciting if winning the race means more points-wise. Because if winning the race means more points-wise, I think Larson is going to move Bowman out of the way with 90 laps to go, and he's going to say, this is my moment. I'm not waiting for a chance I might not get later on. But, all right, you know what? I could finish in second. I got some stage points. I'm only a couple of points back by finishing in second anyway. I think that this is the part of the whole sport in NASCAR that it sucks. It just sucks.
Yeah, there's 2 problems I noticed in that race. Is one being Bowman won the race on a pit stop. We're not talking about it on track. He won because he was quicker. The quickest pit stop of the season. I get it. They earned to be first. Yeah. But there was still like 100 to go. Like the quickest car all day. Even Bowman said it in his post race was, "Oh, Kyle Larson had a faster car than I did."
Yeah.
So it's the package. It still shows the 750 package, the downforce levels and the track still isn't working. It's like, so the faster car didn't win. The faster car lost because of a freaking pit stop. And it's not like his pit stop was bad. It was like a 12.2 second pit stop, something like that. Like he lost the race because of a pit stop. The second factor that I notice is this the problem with racing teammates up front. Great day for Hendrick, 1, 2, 3, 4. But like you said, let's say that's not Alex Bowman in front of Kyle Larson on that restart. Let's just say it's Kevin Harvick. Let's say it's somebody not of Hendrick Motorsports. Hell, yes, he's moving him, but it's his teammate, and there's 2 other teammates behind him, and I think he's thinking, if I move him and I wreck both of us and 2 of my teammates ram into us, I'm in trouble because my boss took a shot on me with no funding out of his pocket to rejuvenate my career. And if I wrecked 4 cars in one bonehead move, then there's a problem. So I think that's a twofold problem. Was one, the faster car couldn't pass the car that he was better than because of a freaking pit stop. And 2, teammates racing each other. He couldn't move him out of the way. And I think Bowman knew that in the back of his mind. I could cut him off. He's not wrecking me. Because that Bowman was aggressive too to move down. Whereas, let's be honest, this is where some of the problem. If that was lap 152, not 302, Bowman probably lets him go. I think Bowman is like, hey, he's faster, just go. But into the race, it just plays out where they just finish 1, 2, 3, 4. So it's a little bit of a twofold where I had money on Larson. And I'm a little upset because I didn't go Bowman. But how many people betting that race? Like, well, wait a minute. I had the best car in a pit. I lost money because of a pit stop, or people that had Bowman the other way around. Like, hey, I won because of a pit stop.
That includes CJ.
CJ hit him.
And look, Bowman, if you look at his stats coming into Dover, he actually has good Dover results.
Yeah. It's not like he's bad. He still led 98 laps.
Yeah. Which were like the last 98.
Yeah, and I know we'll get into the points here, but yeah, he did the same thing in Richmond. I mean, you got to look. He shouldn't have won Richmond. That should have been Denny Hamlin or Joey Logano, and he snuck in there on a late pit stop, late caution. He won the race. So I know we'll talk points. I'm a little concerned with Bowman. Yes, he's got 2 wins.
He's 13th in points.
Yeah,
that's crazy.
I looked this up last night. Out of his last 7 races, we're going back 7 races. We're only 13 in, so basically the last half of this season right now. He's only got 2 top 10s.
Both wins.
And they're both wins. So it's a hard one to figure out. To me, I think you got some guys separating themselves now. You could see who the clear favorites are for this championship. I think they're starting to separate themselves, but you still have the randomness of, like you just saw yesterday, that a pit stop helped one guy win, and I wouldn't put him in the championship category yet. I mean, I'm sorry, not even top 10s. It's 2 top 15s. He hasn't been a top 15 in the last half of the season, other than 2 wins that he kind of fluked his way to the front to get. Yes, he was running top 4 all day, but yeah, just a little bit different there when the best guy isn't winning.
But Kyle Larson, as we've said for all season, including the preseason, it's a second half sport, and the fact that they were able to win, the fact that they've been able to find out ways to win late is a good thing. It's a very good thing.
It is.
Now, if they just kind of get rid of some of the issues that they have during races, then it's not like they're not fast. It's just that they're countering so many issues during the races when that forced them out of the top 15. So if they fix that up, that's why I was talking to CJ about this last week, is that it's almost like Bowman is racing this season the way Ryan Blaney raced last season, where he was much better than the results, than the point standings. And you can kind of sense that something was coming here with this driver, but you just also felt if he doesn't change, then he could be out as quickly as Blaney was out in the playoffs last year.
It is, and speaking of Blaney, I was going to mention that too. I mean, look, he won in Atlanta. He's got no top 5s in the same 7 races for Bowman since. None. His best finish is 8th, and he's only done that a couple times. It's like, it's starting to shape up like last season. You're starting to see the same guys do the same things, except Kyle Larson. I mean, you got to start to wonder. If you look at the stats, you see all the top 5s of Denny Hamlin and all the laps led by Kyle Larson. I mean, he's led 263 laps yesterday, swept both stages. He dominated Atlanta.
He's the lap leader.
He's dominated Kansas. Yeah, he's only won once. Hamlin's never won this season. I mean, if you just look at the stats and you're like, those are the two. Those are the two. And then you look, we're 13 races in. They've got 1 combined win. I mean, at what point are the frustration for these guys got to start sinking in? Like, look, we're here at the end every single race, and we dominate all the way up with 10 to go, 15 to go. And how many races are we going to give away? I mean, these are playoff points that it's like, I was like, hey, let's put a thumbtack in this and revisit this in October. That how many playoff points by wins that these guys aren't getting that are going to haunt them come the playoffs? That how many races, what is this, 3, 4, 5 races Larson probably should have won by now. Hamlin should have been right up there. That's 5 playoff points per win that they're not getting that somebody else is. And that how much is this going to hurt them in the long run? We don't have the answer now, but come playoff time, when you need to rely on those, it could hurt them. This could be a problem for him moving forward.
Yeah, I mean, with Blaney, the thing that's keeping him in the position he's in, you've got him right now. He's 6th in the playoffs, and he is also 6th in the regular standings? Yeah, right. Okay.
Yeah.
So is that, I believe he's now on a run where has like a bunch of top 12s.
Yes, bunch of top 12s. He's in the top. He's towards the front half of the field.
Yeah.
He's just, hey, let's be honest. We knew this coming to this stretch. These aren't strong tracks for him. He's not typically good.
He's doing better on those tracks, which is huge.
He's getting top 12.
Yes.
And two, the other factor is, yes, Hendrick got 1, 2, 3, 4. But I like Kyle Busch's comment on his radio earlier in the day when they were multiple laps down, like, hey, go back out there, let's salvage this. And he made the best point. We're not coming back here at the end of the year. We're not coming back with this car next year. So what are we learning by this? So I don't feel like with Blaney's run, you can't take a lot of stock in it. It's a concrete mile track. There's nothing that this race really translates over to maybe Bristol, but that's half the size of Dover. We're not coming back there in the fall like we used to. Hendrick went 1, 2, 3, 4, but there's not much to be said for that. So like you said, for some of these tracks Blaney hasn't done well at, it's not shocking, and some of them we're not even coming back to. So the fact that he's improved is great, but again, can he keep improving? And for him, can he maximize the playoff tracks that can they get better in the playoffs? Right, he's already got a win. Right now, it doesn't matter. He's solidly in. Denny Hamlin, if we keep coming with this, I didn't even mention this last week because I thought he'd eventually get a win. He's 293 points to the good. And he's way up still in the overall standings. Here's the other wrinkle in this. Say we get 15 winners, the regular season champion gets an automatic playoff spot. Every year, the regular season champion wins races, so it's a moot point. But what if Denny Hamlin doesn't win? He gets a playoff spot, even if he doesn't win, and he's so far ahead. So he could take a playoff spot in theory from somebody else. He's almost 300 points ahead of the cut line right now. So
even though he doesn't have anything to worry about, Elliott and Harvick still have something to worry about.
Even though, because Elliott's 151 to the good, Harvick's 146 to the good. They're coming around. I mean, Elliott's got 5 top 10s his last 7, 3 straight top 7s. Harvick's got 4 straight top 6s. They're running good, but let's say Hamlin doesn't win. Yeah, let's say Hamlin doesn't win, but that's the 11th spot.
Yes.
You've only got a few more spots. Let's say Austin Dillon wins, or De Benedetto. Kurt Busch is always good for 1 win a year. Let's say he gets.
Well, we have what? 2 more road course races before the playoffs, or 3?
3. You got COTA this weekend. You got Road America. You got Indy road course. Watkins Glen.
4.
Sonoma. You got 5.
5 before the playoffs.
Yeah, and you got Daytona again.
Okay, so there you go. I mean, it could happen.
It could theory. If I'm Elliott, who's best,
but then again, Elliott's really good on the road course. Harvick would then be the one that needs
Harvick
to be
is, because right now you got to look. There's only 5 points between those two. Elliott can really separate himself to where, like, hey, I've got really that top wild card spot. I know Hamlin's making it on points. It doesn't matter. He wins. I just got to hold on to that top wild card spot. As long as there's not 15 different winners.
He'll win a road course race. You know that.
I think he will. Out of 5 of them, he can get himself
he'll win one of those.
If he goes...
There's no way he's going 0 for 5.
No. If he goes through 26 races as the defending champion of regular season and doesn't win, I think he's got more problems anyways. I think you've got to... Because I think, like you say, we're starting to see some guys separate themselves. I don't think we're going to get to 14, 15, 16 different winners. Larson's going to eventually win again. Truex is going to keep going. Byron's knocking down the door.
But again, it's about those road course races and Daytona. Those are the freak winning races. You just don't know.
That's where you're going to... To me, I think we're going to start seeing, and I have this already ready for the Sonoma weekend in a couple weeks, that you're going to start seeing some separation between these bubble guys for the playoffs and everybody else, because they're going to go for points. Why would you not at this point? If you're Chase Elliott, Kevin Harvick, maybe even Austin Dillon, instead of going strategy for a win, just accumulate the points. Just get up there because you got a good enough car. These the Benedettos, Kurt Busch, Stenhouse Jr.,
Oh, yeah, they gotta get a
Daniel
win.
Suarez, go for the win.
Yep.
You're going to get to the point where, hey, I'm going to give up stage points to position myself for a win, and it's either going to work or fail miserably, and I have to start doing that every week. So I think you're going to start seeing a larger gap with that playoff bubble because those guys that are already in, like a Dylan who's plus 46 or no, plus 60.
That's a lot.
Yeah, start getting more and more. Get yourself over 100, and then like Chris Buescher, he's plus 28. Tyler Reddick, he's got 5 top 8s his last 7 races. He's plus 17. I think you're going to see those guys start distancing themselves because they take the points. They're handing you points. Just take them because the odds of you getting bumped out are getting slimmer and slimmer because these guys are going to have to go off strategy. And we've seen a lot of times where off strategy does work. Majority of the time, it doesn't. Majority of the time, you're going aggressive, and it's not going to work. So I think you're going to start seeing a big gap between the guys in the playoffs and the guys not because the gap's widening right now. You got to go for a win.
Okay, so this week's race, this is the first time. This is one of those new road course races.
Yep.
And
yeah.
we're not going to know anything. They're going to practice, though, and qualify, right?
They'll practice. Yeah, they'll practice and qualify, but first time on this track. There's nothing historically to look at. There's nothing to compare this track to. We've never been there. We don't know how these cars are going to react there. You can't say, oh, this we've never been there, but this road course is comparable to Sonoma. We don't know. We've never been there.
That's good.
So there is nothing. This is a true wild card race, which is why I feel maybe this has Chase Elliott written all over it. You guys that are typically good at road courses, you're going to be good here because if you're not, why are you going to magically figure out road course this week on the track you've never been to?
What do you think his number is? I'll probably say 3-1 or 4-1.
I was going to say 3 or 4-1.
Yeah.
I think would be Elliott. I think Truex would be right there.
Yes.
They may put Truex as the favorite because he's got good road course stats.
And he's got 3 wins.
He's got 3 wins this year. The 750 package he's good at. Those are your top 2. I think you're going to get some good value for Hamlin has been decent on road courses. He was 3rd in Daytona.
And by the way, we didn't even mention another top 10 for William Byron.
I made a list last night of my championship contenders, and he's on it.
How could he not be?
Yeah.
He's still a good number on the futures.
Yeah, was he 12, 11 to 1 still last week or something? He's getting double digits, and this dude's got a top 10 finish every race
and a win
since we left Daytona with a win, and he's not going anywhere. He looks legit. He's got what is that 11 now? Yeah, 11 straight top 10s since we left Daytona. He is a top 10 every race. So you take a super speedway and a road course, which are kind of flukish races anyways, out. He's a top 10 every week. So I've got him, Truex, Larson, Hamlin, and Logano. I think that's about it. I think that's about it for your main championship guys. Harvick, Elliott, Keselowski, kind of teetering that line, but I think head-to-head, you've really got those 5 guys, and then they're starting to distance themselves.
How is Byron so far behind Denny Hamlin in points?
I think because Hamlin gets a lot of stage points.
So he's got 4 more stage points. Or wins.
Then wins, yeah. So that's 10. That's 40 points right there.
All right. How many is he behind, points. Byron? Is that a 101?
101, yes. Or Byron's 101 points behind Hamlin. Yeah.
Okay.
Overall. So that's a lot of points to make up and almost we're halfway through the regular season, literally
the
now.
stage
13.
wins. Yeah,
that's where it's key. But with Byron right there, I would like to see him win another race or two just to get those 5 playoff points. And I think he's in a good – if he could get out of the first round, some of those tracks are a little difficult for him. I think he's a sleeper to watch in this playoffs.
Absolutely.
I really do. I mean, we saw what he's done every track. He's fast everywhere we go.
It's sort of like what happened to Chase Elliott last year. It's like, come on, sooner or later, you guys got to – now that Elliott kind of broke through – to prove to everybody that these the next young generation can win championships. Why isn't William Byron getting that same? If Chase Elliott was doing what William Byron was doing, Come on.
it would
He might be the
Yep,
favorite to win the championship because Chase Elliott has
it
been the
is.
favorite to win the championship almost all season until like the last couple of
Yep.
weeks.
There's a case to be made, which would be a good debate question, is out of the 4 Hendrick guys, who's the worst? Right now, Elliott doesn't have any wins, but who's the weak link out of them? Hendrick's set for the future now. I mean, you look at their 4 guys. Bowman, he's
better
a
than
free
anybody.
agent. Yeah, and we talked about that preseason. Remember, I talked about the young age, who is positioning themselves for the future. Hendrick's got 4 guys, 28 years of age and younger. Stewart-Haas, they're starting to transition, and look at them. They're not doing – Eric Almirola wrecks again. Chase Briscoe's 35th.
Are you going to dump Almirola this week or what?
I don't know. It's still so hard to – I just feel like those guys that aren't picked up yet, I just keep going like, can they win a race? Almirola, I mean, he was running near the top 10. It just fluke things keep happening. A tire blows and he hits the wall and wind it's knocked out.
Yeah, but he's not. Yeah,
he's not
getting
anything
to the playoffs unless he wins a race.
No, that's where it's getting to the extreme. For like I asked that question before the season, over under, what was it, 2.5 guys for Stewart-Haas to make the playoffs? Maybe the 1. We may be down to 1, and that's a shame for a big team like that. Unless these guys start getting wins. But you're asking a lot. I mean, Almirola's got 2 career wins. The other 2, Custer's got 1. Briscoe's a rookie. You're going to start asking these guys to have to win races. But you look at their compared to Hendrick and why Hendrick's propelling themselves up. That was a key thing that came out yesterday. Speaking of that, to wrap that part up, is Bowman is a free agent at season's end. Hendrick said it's just a formality.
Yeah, it better be.
They've talked. The only thing missing is they haven't signed the contract. I think they're working on the funding, but it's a multi-year deal. Yeah. So Hendrick, he's set. He's set for the future. Penske, you got Blaney and Logano. They're coming along. We know what Logano you get. Blaney's eventually – one of these years, Blaney's going to figure it out and win this championship. Maybe it's this year. Maybe he gets hot.
Oh, absolutely.
They got Cindric waiting there. But Stewart-Haas, I always ask this about stick and ball teams. What's their identity? What's Stewart-Haas's identity right now? Kevin Harvick's the only one doing anything, and he's not really done a whole lot.
They got to make some changes.
If they were a stick and ball organization, you almost would hit the reset button. We got to blow this thing out. Something's got to change. They
got to somehow find a way to get someone over there, like a veteran. I don't know how they can do that, but they got to try to figure it out. By the way, I would put, you still have to put Bowman 4th on Hendrick.
I think so. I would say, and you'd put him 4th. I agree. The guy with the most wins of the 4 this year is the lowest. Yeah. And I think Larson's clearly 1. It's debatable between Byron. I would say probably Byron right now. I'd put Byron 2, Elliott 3, Bowman 4. But you're also going on the betting lines like, the only reason I'm not going Elliott, we're all thinking Elliott could be 2 because we've seen him win. It shouldn't even be a debate. It should be Byron's too. Look at what he's doing. And Byron's flirting with number 1. Yeah. But it's an interesting debate. I think that'd be an interesting debate to ask those within the industry, the drivers, what they see. Who rank the Hendrick Motorsport drivers 1 through 4?
Well,
it's hard to do.
That we'll pose that question on our YouTube channel on this very page.
It's a good
1 through 4. Rank them.
Yeah.
All right. Sounds good.
There's no right or wrong answer. But I'd just be curious what people think. It's a good debate. It's a good debate for race fans that have a beer, wait for the race to start. Hey, let's rank the 4 Hendrick guys right now.
All right. So again, road course. CJ and I will talk about that on Wednesday. So we'll preview the NASCAR race on Wednesday, and then Eric is back on Friday. I'm not sure we're gonna figure out CJ's schedule when he wants to come on and participate on this speed show, which is more towards IndyCar. But of course, on Mondays, we also incorporate NASCAR. We recap everything over the weekend between the NASCAR Cup Series and the IndyCar Series. So, but CJ will probably be on at some point. He might just be on for the preview show a week from Friday, but he'll pop on at some point as well. So, Eric, appreciate it as always. We'll talk to you on Friday. Not sure time-wise what, but it'll be a couple of shows, a couple of reports on Friday. And in the meanwhile, you got everything already wrapped up recap-wise on racereviewonline.net?
Yep, it's up there right now from over the weekend. And then I got a post today about the top things to watch storylines for practice week. We'll have daily recaps for practice speed, some features from talking with drivers, and then we'll have Friday a 5 burning questions for the upcoming qualifying weekend, qualifying preview, and then a bunch of qualifying stuff over the weekend.
All right, cool. By the way, do you prefer the hot chick with the checkered flags, or do you like it when we had the NTT IndyCar logo there?
I'm good with either. I'm good with whatever the fans would like to see.
That's another question I'll pose for him.
That's another question. Which one would you rather have?
The hot chick or the logo? Boy, imagine. I might just keep. What's that dude's name? The Monster Mile Man?
Oh, Miles. Miles the Monster.
That's his name, Miles?
Yep, Miles.
Okay.
Yep.
So I was thinking maybe just to keep Miles there the whole year.
Yeah.
There
we go.
Why not? He's clearly the best mascot in the series because all those other crappy mascots they've thrown around over the years, it's just ridiculous.
Yeah, we got a literal monster that holds a full size car. That's how big he is. It looks like a toy car.
And it looks like he's actually, he looks like he's holding on to the flag there, where he's positioned. So
I like him.
It's pretty cool.
We can leave him.
We can leave him there. Yeah. All right, sounds good. Indy 500 talk is going to really ramp up starting on Friday. So check back here on Prime Sports Speed. Most importantly, here on our YouTube channel. And again, subscribe, comment, analysis, what you want to hear us talk about, comments, whatever. Please do that, especially, obviously, if you like what you see. So for Eric Smith, I'm Greg DePalma. We'll see you next time.